My mission was to corrupt the female lead. So, I approached Mi Cai myself, teasing the gentle, well-behaved girl until her cheeks flushed, awakening twisted desire in her heart. Then, just when she loved me most, I faked my death and disappeared. Sure enough, Mi Cai's corruption level immediately maxed out. But before I could celebrate completing the mission, the system suddenly sounded an alarm. The female lead's corruption level is too high. She is about to destroy the world. Host, find a way to lower her corruption level. When I entered the world again, Mi Cai had imprisoned me on a bed in a room without a trace of daylight. She stroked my neck, her smile as gentle as water. Brother, you said you like seeing me lose my mind. Am I crazy enough for you now? Brother, why are you home so late? The moment I got home, someone embraced me from behind. Mi Cai gently kissed my back. Her girlish fragrance, warm and intimate, curled around me, as though she were marking her prey. Warmth spread from behind me, making me shudder. I worked late today. It couldn't be helped. Her voice carried a trace of grievance. Then don't go to work, brother. I'll support you. I couldn't help but laugh. After 5 years together, I knew Mi Cai too well. She had grown up in a stifling, dark environment, which made her exceptionally possessive of me. She even tried every possible way to make me spend all 24 hours by her side. I came home late today, so I must have made her anxious again. As usual, I stroked Mi Cai's head, planning to kiss her and reassure her. But when I lowered my head, just as I was about to kiss her, warning, only 1 day remains until the female lead corruption mission expires. Host, accelerate your progress. Otherwise, you will be erased. I abruptly froze. I'd almost forgotten that my mission was to corrupt Mi Cai. I was the one destined to push Mi Cai into the abyss. If I kissed her now, then when she remembered it someday, she would find me even more hypocritical and disgusting. Mi Cai was the female lead in a Yandere novel. She had endured a dark childhood, and her mind had gradually twisted and darkened. After she met the warm, optimistic male lead, driven by possessiveness and insecurity, she imprisoned him at her side. But as they spent more time together, the male lead gradually healed Mi Cai. In the end, they fell in love and became a devoted couple. That was the ending Mi Cai was supposed to have. But reality can go off script. On one particular timeline, Mi Cai was naturally gentle and kind. Yet amid endless torment and abuse, not only did she not turn dark, she became even stronger. That made the rest of the plot impossible to continue. So the system urgently sent me into that world. My mission was to corrupt the female lead, then send her to the original male lead who would save her. I agreed. After entering that world, I began treating Mi Cai with wholehearted devotion. When she was alone and helpless, I took her in and gave her a home. When street thugs bullied her, I risked myself to stand up for her and bandaged her wounds. When a nightmare held her captive, I held her tight, whispering gently again and again, "Don't be afraid. I'll always be with you." And so, 5 years passed. Mi Cai's corruption level did not rise at all, but her affection score for me maxed out. The system was baffled. Host, what are you doing? Your mission is to twist the female lead and corrupt her, not make her fall for you. Shouldn't you be torturing her relentlessly? I smiled faintly. Mi Cai is strong. Torturing her would only make her more defiant. I'll make her fall in love with me, then die horribly before her eyes. She'll watch the one she loves be swallowed by darkness, powerless to stop it. One concluded. That way, to avenge me, Mi Cai will fight violence with violence, and willingly turn dark. The system shuddered. You truly are an experienced transmigrator. This plan is terrifyingly flawless. But even so, over those long 5 years, my plan still went wrong. There was no other reason. It was simply because Mi Cai was too wonderful. I truly fell for her. Mi Cai loved clinging to me and calling me brother. She loved giving me every beautiful thing she found. Her eyes were always gentle and full of love when she looked at me. Even if I gave her the slightest affection, she would immediately place her whole heart in my hands. Sincere and passionate. Even I, who had completed countless missions like this, could not help being drawn to a girl like her. So selfishly, I wanted to stay with her a little longer, and kept delaying the mission, until today. But today was the mission's final deadline. I could not delay any longer. I had to leave Mi Cai, and personally push this girl, whose heart belonged entirely to me, into endless darkness. I looked around, and found the room filled with flowers and candles. Everything was exquisite and luxurious. Unable to contain my curiosity, I asked, "Is today some special day?" A gentle smile curved Mi Cai's lips. Yes, a very important one. Guess, brother. These past few days, I've been busy preparing to leave, utterly exhausted in body and mind. I had not even noticed what day it was, so I guessed at random. With decorations this elaborate. Are we celebrating your birthday? Mi Cai shook her head. No. Today is the day brother took me in. Our 5th anniversary. I was stunned. The day I took Mi Cai in? That was so long ago. Even I could not remember the date. Yet Mi Cai had quietly remembered it for 5 years. Seeing my shocked expression, Mi Cai lowered her eyes and said softly, "Before I met you, brother, everyone treated me like a bad omen. They all avoided me. They all wanted me to go mad and sink into ruin. Only you were truly kind to me. My life only gained meaning after you appeared." Then Mi Cai looked at me with her clear eyes, brimming with fervent love. "Today is the most important day of my life, far more important than my birthday." A sudden ache welled up in my chest. I looked at the girl before me, and my vision blurred. The truth was, I had never been truly kind to her. I was no different from the people who bullied her. I wanted her to go mad and turn dark, but Mi Cai did not notice my reddened eyes. She was still smiling as she sweetly pleaded, "Now that you know what day it is, brother, do you have a gift for me?" I slowly opened my mouth, but before I could answer, a furious barrage of knocking erupted at the door. My heart abruptly stopped. They were here. As Mi Cai rose to answer the door, I stepped in front of her first, then yanked the door open. The next instant, a sharp knife pierced my body. Blood gushed out, splattering everywhere. One drop landed at the corner of Mi Cai's eye, turning her eyes a blood-red shade. Mi Cai had not yet reacted. She stared blankly as I collapsed. In disbelief, she murmured, "Brother." But sadly, I did not hear her. As my senses rapidly faded, I could only see a gang of thugs rush inside, stepping on me as they laughed arrogantly. "Hey, back when you got us arrested. Over that bitch, Mi Cai. Weren't you acting all tough?" "Yeah. Why don't you get the hell up and say that again? We kindly warned you before, not to cross us. We've got powerful people backing us. You pissed us off. Even if they kill you today, no one will avenge you." Wild curses and jeers rang out. The home that had been warm moments ago became a living hell in an instant. Before I died, I looked at Mi Cai one last time. She knelt before my body, desperately pressing down on my bleeding wound. Her eyes were bloodshot, her face twisted in anguish and despair. She seemed to be calling my name, but I was dying and could not hear her. A tear fell from the corner of my eye, silently merging with the blood on the floor. And so, the female lead who had always lived in darkness finally received the first gift of her life at age 20. My corpse. Congratulations, host. Mi Cai's corruption level has reached 100%. Congratulations, host. Mi Cai has triggered the storyline, killing the thugs. The original plot has begun correcting itself. Congratulations, host. Your reward has been issued. Amid the system's jubilant congratulations, I could not feel happy at all. Although I had not truly died, I had merely left the world of the novel. But that final sight of her, Mi Cai's bloodstained, desperate, crazed face, was seared into my mind, and I could never erase it. I returned to my original world. In the blink of an eye, 5 years passed. I had gone back to work, but I still could not adjust to living alone, without that gentle, thoughtful girl by my side. Nothing felt right. But people have to move forward. No matter how much I missed her, I could never see her again. I leaned against the balcony railing, feeling dejected as the evening breeze blew. Suddenly, the system's long silent mechanical voice rang out. My thoughts were instantly interrupted. "What do you want?" The system gave an awkward laugh. "I do. And it is good news," it continued, host. "Because you missed the female lead, Mi Cai, so deeply. The system was deeply moved. We have decided to send you back to her." I sprang up from the railing and grabbed the system. "Stop making jokes that are not funny. What is this really about?" After all my years as a novel transmigrator, I have never heard of anyone being sent back into a novel for missing someone too much. That lie is painfully weak. Sure enough, once I exposed it, the system immediately looked miserable. It sniffled. "Host, something terrible has happened." According to the original plot, after Mi Cai turned dark, she was supposed to meet the male lead, who would save her. They would fall in love at first sight, but Mi Cai has gone too far off the rails. You, the one who died, are all she thinks about. She will not even look at the original male lead. The plot is stuck again. I rubbed my temples, my head aching. Is that really a big deal? Tell the male lead to be patient. He can slowly win Mi Cai over. They are destined for each other. Given time, the male and female leads will fall in love. The system cried even louder. But that is the problem. The male lead was not patient. When he saw that Mi Cai could only think of you, his pride was wounded. In a fit of anger, he told her that you were a transmigrator, and that your mission was to make her turn dark. He told her everything. What? My heart sank. Mi Cai froze on the spot. I do not even dare remember that look in her eyes. It was terrifying. The system shuddered all over. The situation now is this. Mi Cai has completely turned dark. She not only killed the thugs, she is also planning to kill the male lead. She even wants to destroy the entire world of the novel. We may need to go back and lower her corruption level again. The system's guilty voice grew quieter. My vision went dark. After several deep breaths, I finally accepted the news. But I still could not stop myself from cursing the system. Then why did you call that good news? What is good about it? The system timidly defended itself. Because, host, do you not miss the female lead too? I thought you would really want to see her. Has it occurred to you that I miss the innocent girl she used to be? Not someone who knows I was a liar and has become a completely unhinged, dark female lead. But no amount of complaining could change anything. At the system's pleading, I returned to the novel world after all. This time, I became a nameless extra. As I recalled, the last time I was here, I was at least a supporting character with an identity. The system said softly, but, host, that body is already dead. That was when I finally realized it. My previous body had been killed right in front of Mi Cai. Back then, for the sake of our past bond, Mi Cai might have even given me a grand funeral. But now, she knew I was a liar. From beginning to end, I was a despicable liar who wanted to drive her mad and turn her dark. Would Mi Cai, in a fit of rage, dig up my body and whip it? As my thoughts churned, a drop of water suddenly landed on my face. It was raining. I looked around and realized I was at a funeral. Everyone wore black mourning clothes. And in the rainy mist, it was hard to tell anyone apart. I could not help asking softly, what part of the plot is this? Whose funeral is this? The system explained. This is Mi Cai's father's funeral. After he died, Mi Cai, the long-lost heiress, was finally brought back to inherit the estate. Its voice suddenly turned grave. But host, be careful. Mi Cai is now in the advanced stages of corruption. She is extremely dangerous. Even her father's death was actually Mi Cai. A male voice suddenly came from nearby. The young man wore a black suit, his handsome face touched with faint sorrow. Do not be sad. Although your father has passed away, you still have me by your side. I froze. I knew this young man. I had encountered him during my previous mission. He was Fang Yuan, the original novel's male lead. If the male lead was here, then the Mi Cai he was speaking to had to be. Suddenly, a languid, soft laugh drifted over without warning. At some point, a woman had appeared at Fang Yuan's side. Her red lips parted. Her voice, seductive and lovely. Thank you for keeping me company. I am no longer sad. Mr. Feng. Those words alone rooted me to the spot. My heart suddenly raced. Even after 5 years apart, there was no way I could mistake her. This was Mi Cai. And she was the Mi Cai from the original novel. Unhinged, extreme, and ruthless. With limitless wealth and power at her command, I could not help stealing a glance to the side. Sure enough, beside Fang Yuan stood a woman in a flowing long dress. Delicate and gorgeous. The rain and mist obscured her features, but I could see her linked arm in arm with the man beside her. Their intimacy unmistakable, just as she had once done with me. A storm of emotions welled up inside me. I could not help feeling a little jealous. But more than that, I felt cold fear. Yes, fear. The system had said. Mi Cai's heart had become twisted. She was plotting to kill the male lead and destroy the world. Yet, judging by her current manner, she looked exactly like a noble, elegant lady, laughing and chatting with her lover. Every movement was so flawless that no fault could be found. No wonder she was so skilled at concealing herself in the original novel. A female lead of unfathomable cunning. My scalp prickled. I had come to win Mi Cai over this time. But everything had happened suddenly. I was not ready to face Mi Cai. I had no idea how to handle the woman who was so utterly different from before. I should avoid her for now. With that thought, I turned to leave in a hurry. But I had only just transmigrated here, and had not fully adjusted to this body, with the rain making the ground slippery. The moment I moved, I suddenly lost my balance, and fell flat before I could catch myself. Just as I hurried to get up, a pair of slender, snow-white hands suddenly reached out to me. One hand gently clasped mine and helped me to my feet. I brushed off my clothes and looked up gratefully. Thank you. But before I could finish, a familiar, delicate fragrance drifted over. It was Mi Cai. My scalp went numb. Instinctively, I covered my face and staggered back a few steps, desperately trying to get away from her. But the hand gripping mine did not let go. She suddenly yanked away the hand covering my face, forcing me to meet her gaze without warning. They were familiar eyes. Mi Cai's gaze was cold and unfathomable, fixed directly on me, as if she could see straight through to the soul inside this body. Yet when she spoke, her tone was as gentle as water, an intimate whisper between lovers. Brother. My entire body went rigid. Mi Cai had recognized me, but that was impossible. I had clearly changed bodies. I should look completely different from before. As I struggled to make sense of it, the system quietly reminded me, Host, since you came back this time to win Mi Cai over, and considering her former love meter for you was 100%, the ordinary body you inhabit actually resembles your old appearance by about 80%. That makes it easy for Mi Cai to recognize you and rekindle your old romance. You could have told me sooner. Did you have to wait until I shamelessly showed up with this face and got caught by Mi Cai? And besides, rekindle our old romance? I uneasily looked into Mi Cai's unfathomable eyes, my scalp prickling. Why did I feel like she was more likely to kill me? Just then, Fang Yuan leaned over, looking puzzled. Mi Cai, what are you doing? His gaze fell on my face. The next instant, his expression turned shocked, then confused, before finally shifting into undisguised disgust. Why is it this face again? So I have one of those generic faces. Fang Yuan frowned in distaste. You men looking to live off rich women. Could you at least do your homework first? Yanmo was never the one Mi Cai could not forget. He was nothing but a damned liar. Surgery to look like him and approaching Mi Cai will only disgust her. Yanmo was my name. I froze, then vaguely began to understand. After I had died for Mi Cai, many people had probably assumed I had become the one Mi Cai could not forget. So they had all altered their faces to look like me and tried to get close to Mi Cai. Instead, they stepped on a landmine. After all, I may truly have once been the one Mi Cai could not forget. But once all the truth was exposed, I could only become the liar she hated most. Naturally, she despised everyone who had altered themselves to resemble me by association. Still, that had one advantage. Mi Cai probably had not truly recognized me yet. She must have taken me for one of those people who willingly had surgery to become Yunmo's stand-in. If that was the case, I might as well play along. I hesitated for less than a second, then turned and took Mi Cai into my arms. Mi Cai's eyes flickered slightly. Gritting my teeth, I forced my eyes to redden, pretending to be devastated. I am sorry, Miss Liu. I did not mean to alter my face to look like Yunmo. I have admired you for a long time. I only wanted you to look at me one more time. I was not thinking clearly when I made this mistake. Please do not hold it against me. Will you? Years of experience transmigrating into novels had honed my acting skills. The way I clung to Mi Cai and refused to let go made me look exactly like those shameless, cannon fodder characters who threw themselves at others in novels. The veins on Fang Yuan's forehead bulged with rage. Get away from her, you cheap imitation. Do not touch my Mi Cai. With that, he shoved me away and grabbed Mi Cai's sleeve instead. Mi Cai, let us go. The host is calling for you. Have this lunatic thrown out. Yes, throw me out already. Mi Cai, forgive me. I am not ready to face you yet. I should first come up with a thorough plan before I try to win you over. As I thought that, I looked at Mi Cai with a trace of anticipation. But Mi Cai's crimson lips curved upward. She ignored Fang Yuan and instead lifted her arms, white as jade, gently wrapping them around my neck. Then she rose on tiptoe and leaned close, her warm breath brushing my ear. Yunmo, do not be sad. I do not mind. In that case, come with me. Instinctively, I tried to step back, but her body was pressed tightly against mine. I could not move. Mi Cai smiled and tilted her head. What is wrong? Have you not admired me for a long time? Are you not happy? I stood there blankly. I am happy. Mi Cai nodded. Good. Let us go. As she spoke, she actually took my hand and walked beside me. Warmth radiated from her hand, while cold sweat poured from my nervous palms. For the first time, I felt trapped with no way out. Why was this going nothing like I expected? Why was Mi Cai being so gentle with me? And what did she plan to do with me next? Amid a storm of doubts, I finally realized Mi Cai was truly nothing like she had been 5 years ago. Every move she made now was beyond my expectations, making her thoughts impossible to read. Just as the original novel described, she was deeply calculating and prone to sudden shifts in mood. Since that was the case, for now, I could only go along with her. I followed her cautiously, thinking it was certainly unusual to become my own substitute. Beside us, Fang Yuan clenched his fist. He glared hatefully at my face, as though he might rush over and punch me at any moment. But with Mi Cai there, he could only follow us in resentful silence. Soon, we arrived at the center of the funeral. A jet-black coffin lay silently on the lawn. Before it, countless tables and chairs stretched into the distance. The crowd buzzed with voices. After all, the head of S City's foremost family had died. Every part of the funeral exuded extravagant wealth. Every prominent socialite and wealthy businessman in the city had gathered here. I was stunned. It really was good to be rich. Even a funeral could be made to resemble an upper class, society's grandest banquet. The host stepped forward and said something to Mi Cai. Mi Cai nodded with a smile. She released my hand and softly said, "Wait for me." Then she walked forward to pray for her deceased father, as the ceremony required. The crowd fell silent at once. Standing among the crowd, I watched Mi Cai in her long black dress recite the prayer in a soft, lovely voice. The rainy mist blurred her exquisite features and concealed the coldness in her eyes, making her look like a holy angel, praying devoutly for the dead. Just as I was lost in a daze, the system's shrill alarm suddenly rang out. Her voice was frantic, as if she were on fire. "Host, something terrible has happened. You must stop Mi Cai immediately." I froze. I glanced at Mi Cai, who was still praying. "What is it? Is there something wrong with what she is saying?" The system sounded close to tears. "Her words are fine, but what she is about to do is a huge problem. I just investigated Mi Cai's plan and discovered she planted a great deal of specialized explosives at this funeral. She plans to blow this place up after the prayer ends. We have to stop her quickly." Before I could process that, I instinctively asked, "A great deal of explosives? How much?" The system's voice turned unusually grave. "Enough to blow up half of her world line, creating a breach Mi Cai could use to reach the real world." My heart nearly stopped. Blow open a breach? A path to the real world? Absolutely not. If someone as antisocial as Mi Cai, a complete lunatic, entered the real world, who knew how much harm she would cause? I looked up at Mi Cai, and a chill suddenly swept through me. It was clearly the same exquisite, beautiful face as before, but now, in my eyes, she was a demon wearing an angel's skin. The system urged me anxiously. "Host, there is 1 minute until the prayer ends. Think of something, quickly." What should I do? How could I stop her? Cold sweat slowly beaded my forehead. Should I try to take her detonator? First, I did not know where it was. And second, I was not confident I could take it from Mi Cai. If only there were a way to make Mi Cai stop of her own accord. I was panicking myself sick over here, while Mi Cai continued reciting in a low voice, "May God bless the deceased in this coffin, even if that person was full of lies. May their false lies become truth." The moment she said that, sharp intakes of breath rippled through the crowd. Did I hear that right? The deceased was full of lies? Is that part of the prayer? Oh my God. Is Miss Liu saying her own father was a liar? Is the Liu family really this divided? Shh. There are so many members of the Liu family here. How can you say that? Do you have a death wish? But before they could recover from that shock, something even more shocking happened. A young man with reddened eyes suddenly raced toward Mi Cai. "Mi Cai, I need to tell you something." It was Fang Yuan. The prayer leading to hell had been interrupted. Mi Cai raised her head and looked at him coolly. My heart, which had been in my throat, finally settled. I let out a shaky breath of relief. Seeing Fang Yuan's panicked expression, I understood. He must have received a warning from the system too, telling him to stop Mi Cai. And now that he had rushed forward, he had probably thought of a way. Sure enough, before everyone's eyes, Fang Yuan cried out, his eyes rimmed red. "Mi Cai, forgive my sudden rudeness, but I have something very important that I must tell you right now." His voice trembled, as if he were choking back sobs. "I am not like Yun Mo, that liar who betrayed you. You may not believe me, but I exist to love you and save you. I've been by your side for 5 years. I know better than anyone how much you've suffered, and I want more than anyone to end that suffering. The male lead, a symbol of salvation, reached out to Mi Cai. If your life is nothing but darkness, will you let me be the one who lights your way? Hearing those familiar words, I froze. The memories came rushing back. In the original novel, it was after these words that the corrupted girl began falling for the boy who could heal her. From then on, they began a passionate love story. This was one of the original novel's most iconic scenes. This time, I finally breathed easy. With those words, and Fang Yuan's heartfelt confession, Mi Cai's descent into darkness should have stopped. But before I could fully relax, Mi Cai gave a soft laugh. Her gaze passed over the crowd and landed precisely on me. Her beautiful eyes brimmed with madness and obsession. No, if you light my way, the one who plunged me into darkness will be unhappy. Fang Yuan froze. So did I. Why was her reaction completely different from the original? But before I could dwell on it, the system urged me anxiously again. Host, hurry. 10 seconds remain until the bomb detonates. 10 seconds. My heart lurched into my throat. There was no time to think of another way. I gritted my teeth. Then I made up my mind. Pushing through the crowd, I pulled Mi Cai into my arms. Before she could react, I wrapped an arm around her waist, lowered my head, and forcibly kissed her. The whole world seemed to fall silent. Mi Cai's eyes widened slightly. The force of my reckless kiss split her red lips. The faint taste of blood spread between our mouths. Yet she seemed not to feel any pain. She did not move at all, letting me kiss her recklessly. Congratulations, host. The female lead's dangerous action has been stopped. Alarm lifted. The moment the system spoke, I released Mi Cai, breathing hard. I had only taken a gamble. I never expected such a bold move would actually stop Mi Cai. But before I could fully relax, I looked up and met Mi Cai's dark gaze. It seemed Mi Cai's attention had shifted from the bomb to me. I gave an awkward laugh. Then inspiration struck. I remembered the devoted substitute persona I had established, so I quickly improvised. Mi Cai, you know I adore you. Why are you entangling yourself with another man in public? I will not allow another man to confess to you. You belong to me alone. I'm jealous. As soon as I finished, the crowd was dumbfounded, and I cringed so hard my scalp tingled. Those words had absolutely no boundaries. It practically screamed that I was wildly overstepping my bounds. If someone else had said that to Mi Cai, I would have mocked them. Who do you think you are? But I was the one who said it. If Mi Cai truly hated me, she must have been utterly disgusted by now. Yet Mi Cai was not disgusted. To my astonishment, she rose onto her toes and kissed me back as if no one else were there, as though we truly were a loving couple. My eyes flew open. I even stopped breathing. Mi Cai's gaze flickered between those intimate, burning kisses. She murmured softly in my ear, I'm not entangled with anyone else. I'm yours alone. Let's go home. As I sat in Mi Cai's car, my feelings were a tangled mess. No matter how oblivious I was, even I could see it. Mi Cai did not hate me. Perhaps she even liked me quite a bit, even though, now, I was only a substitute who bore an 80% resemblance to my former self. I could not quite put my feelings into words, but as long as she had those feelings for me, it would make my mission to win her over much easier. I could stay by Mi Cai's side under this new identity, slowly win her over, and lower her corruption level. Just as I was planning my strategy, a gentle voice suddenly sounded beside my ear. Brother Yun Mo. I had heard that form of address for 5 years. It was deeply familiar, so I answered out of habit. What is it? The speeding car suddenly slammed on the brakes. Mi Cai's expression was dark and unreadable. She turned and stared directly at me. It really is you, brother. My heart suddenly began racing. Once I realized what I had done, an uncontrollable chill surged through me. I'm done for. How could I have answered her without thinking? Well, that was just perfect. My new identity was exposed before I could even settle into it. My neck stiff, I silently locked eyes with Mi Cai. I had imagined countless times what it would be like when Mi Cai discovered my identity. Maybe she would show a look of disgust and angrily call me a hypocritical liar. Maybe she would sneer, mocking me for trying to get close to her again. Or perhaps she would not want to see me at all and simply drive me away. But I had never imagined that after learning who I was, Mi Cai would be like this, sitting in the car in a silent standoff with me. The air around us seemed to freeze solid. The light inside the car was dim, casting Mi Cai's eyes into deep shadow. I could not read even a trace of emotion in them. In the end, she spoke first. If I had not exposed you, How long were you planning to hide behind that new identity? And deceive me this time? I clenched my fist, so guilty that I barely dared to breathe. I awkwardly changed the subject. When did you realize I was deceiving you? Mi Cai gave me an indifferent glance. I knew from the moment you entered this world. You had been gone for so long. I was not so foolish that I had learned nothing. I would not let you deceive me a second time. I froze. That meant, the moment I entered this world, Mi Cai already knew I was the real Yunmo. Yet she had not exposed me directly. Instead, she had watched from the sidelines as though enjoying a show, as I pretended to be a substitute, making a flustered, nervous fool of myself. Then, just when I thought my disguise had worked, she casually exposed me, leaving me utterly humiliated. From beginning to end, she had kept me in the dark and toyed with me. The twisted sense of humor of the original novel's unhinged heroine was plain to see. Still, I carefully glanced at Mi Cai. Since I entered this world, her mood had remained cold and calm. She had not gone mad, nor become frenzied, nor had she gotten angry. It seemed my deception and return to her were not worth taking too seriously. So, some of my tension eased. I cautiously tested the waters. Mi Cai, what I did to you before, you do not mind? Mi Cai lowered her long lashes, concealing the emotions in her eyes. There is nothing to mind. You wanted to complete your mission and go home. Using me as a stepping stone is perfectly normal, isn't it? Besides, her eyelashes trembled faintly. From the day I was born until now, people have always abandoned me. I am used to it. The car's fragrance hung in the air, curling around us, faint yet inescapable. Perhaps the scent was too strong, but it left me slightly dazed. Looking at Mi Cai's bowed head, for one brief moment, I actually thought, this woman, mad to the core, was hurting. It was like going back 5 years, when that innocent, kind-hearted girl had sought comfort from me. My heart softened before I could stop it. I could not help speaking softly, the way I had soothed her countless times before. I wronged you before. The last time I came, I really did mean to corrupt you, but not this time. As I spoke, my face grew a little warm. This time, I came with the exact opposite purpose. If you do not mind, I can stay by your side properly this time. To make up for before. Mi Cai was taken aback. Then, she spoke very softly. You really are not deceiving me this time. I nodded. I did not know whether this would make Mi Cai a little happier, but under my hopeful gaze, the corners of Mi Cai's lips slowly lifted. At last, she revealed a dark, sickly smile. She said, but I deceived you, brother. The heavy fragrance grew increasingly pungent. A wave of dizziness suddenly swept over me. Only then did I belatedly realize something was wrong with the fragrance. I immediately looked at Mi Cai in disbelief. You laced the fragrance with a drug. Mi Cai smiled. It is not really a drug, just something to help you fall asleep early, brother. The next moment, she rose and moved close to me. Her intimate, scorching breath swept across my skin. Her warm, supple body pressed against mine like a snake. She wrapped around me so tightly I could barely breathe. I instinctively tried to push her away, but whatever she had given me had already drained all strength from my body. My limbs were too weak to move. I could only watch helplessly as Mi Cai lowered her head and bit a deep mark into my shoulder, as if she were marking her lost prey once again. A numbing, prickling pain coursed through me. Dizzy and disoriented, I cursed. Mi Cai, you really are insane. Before I lost consciousness completely, I saw the smile on Mi Cai's face widen. At last, she tore away her gentle, courteous mask, revealing the extreme madness beneath. It was terrifying. I'm not crazy. Did you not just say you wanted to make it up to me? You deceived me once, so I will deceive you once too. That is fair compensation, brother. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself lying on a bed. The room was filled with expensive furnishings and decor, lavish beyond measure. Yet it was all shrouded in dim light. The room's atmosphere was oppressive and heavy, as bleak as a world without daylight. I frowned, instinctively wanting to leave, but the moment I moved, cold metal pressed against my skin. I looked down and discovered that at some point, silver chains had bound my hands and feet. All I could do was lie motionless on the bed. Awake, a familiar voice sounded. Mi Cai's slender figure gradually emerged from the darkness. She still wore that ever-present smile. You are such a sleepyhead, brother. You slept for so long. She actually had the nerve to say that. Did I fall asleep? She had clearly drugged me unconscious. I took several deep breaths, forcing down my shock and rage. As calmly as possible, I rattled the chains around my wrist. What is the meaning of this? I am sorry, brother. I have overstepped. But I am truly afraid you will run away again, like you did 5 years ago. So, Mi Cai idly stroked the chains. Since I cannot keep you with feelings, I can only try physical means. A bone-chilling cold rose in my heart. Mi Cai spoke of apologies and fear, but her actions showed none of it. She always liked pretending to be gentle and harmless, delicate and pitiful. Then, once her prey was lured in, she would reveal her cruel true face, then deliver a single fatal blow. Just like the deceitful, scheming heroine in the original novel, there was no trace left of who she used to be. What Mi Cai did not know was, I was a system-equipped transmigrator inside a novel. I could leave this world anytime, anywhere. These silver chains could never hold me. With that thought, I quietly called out to the system. Are you there? There was no response. A terrible feeling suddenly rose within me. I urgently called to the system several more times in my mind. But the system, usually so talkative, did not give the slightest response this time. It was as if a stone had sunk into the sea. Why have you gone quiet, brother? Mi Cai still wore a lazy smile. Let me guess. You are looking for your system, are you not? My scalp went numb. I stared at her warily. How do you know? Mi Cai gave a soft laugh. Brother, you did not think that after you left. All I did was grieve and become corrupted, did you? A note of pity gradually entered her voice. Of course not. Quite the opposite. To stop you from deceiving me through the system again. I have practically studied the entire system inside out. For example, she smiled as she walked toward me, yet she radiated a suffocating pressure. Every step felt as if it landed on my heart. I invented a bomb that can blow apart this timeline. I had planned to destroy this place and go to your world. Brother, I learned how to hear the system's voice. So, when you entered my world this time, I was the first to hear the notification. And another thing, I found a material that blocks the system, at least within this specially designed room. You cannot contact the system, brother. Cold sweat gradually beaded at my temples. The original novel did say, Mi Cai was a scientific prodigy. But, in the original novel, she had specialized in electronic technology. She should have used her research achievements to build a business empire of her own. So, why had she turned to studying the system instead? Everything had gone completely off the rails. Before I could react, Mi Cai had already straddled me. Her movements were forceful, but her voice was so soft and sweet it seeped into my bones. Since you cannot escape, then stay obediently by my side, brother. All right. I was nearly frozen with terror. What are you going to do? Before I could finish, Mi Cai's kisses came down in an overwhelming rush. They sealed my mouth, from my forehead to the tip of my nose, then my lips and teeth, then all the way downward, as if she were confirming that I existed. A suffocating heat instantly engulfed me. Tingling sensations came from different parts of my body. My face burned fiercely. It felt as if all the blood in my body was boiling. Not until Mi Cai's hand touched a certain spot did I abruptly come to my senses. Instinctively, I bit her shoulder. I snapped, my breathing unsteady. Mi Cai, what the hell are you doing? I had not held back that bite. The taste of blood instantly filled my mouth, but Mi Cai seemed incapable of feeling pain. She did not let go of me. Unhealthy emotions churned in her eyes. She gave a self-mocking laugh. I am crazy. But, brother, aren't you the one who wanted to see me go crazy most? She moved close to my face. Her reddened eyes locked with mine. 5 years ago, to make me become corrupted and lose my mind, you went so far as to deceive me for 5 years. You even chose the cruelest way to die. You even pushed me toward Fang Yuan, without caring how I felt at all. So look at me now. Am I crazy enough for you? Why do you still not like me? This was the first time Mi Cai had lost emotional control. She had her hand around my throat, completely irrational, as if she might do something even more unhinged at any moment. An unprecedented sense of danger crashed over me. Every part of my body warned me that I had to stop this madwoman, quickly. In my panic, I lied in a trembling voice. Because I hate you. Whether you are crazy or sane, I hate you. I only said I loved you 5 years ago because my mission required me to deceive you. Do you still not understand? The room instantly fell deathly silent. Only the clinking of the swaying silver chains remained. Those words worked all too well. Mi Cai's face instantly turned deathly pale. Her body swayed. Then she slowly rose and left the room. She left behind only the faintest whisper. You deceived me again. It felt as if my heart had been stabbed too. After 5 years of depending on each other to survive, This was the first time I had been so merciless to Mi Cai. I had wanted to drive Mi Cai away. But when I truly saw her retreating figure, my heart began to ache as well. Had I gone too far just now? Should I have chosen a gentler way to push her away? But I soon realized I had worried for nothing. When I saw Mi Cai again, she had tucked away every trace of those uncontrolled emotions. Once again, she wore her smiling mask. She sat by the bed, holding a tray of food, feeding me bite by bite, as though our earlier argument had never happened. Her gentleness and patience were almost horrifying. Brother, I made these dishes according to your old preferences. How do they taste? If you do not like them, I will make something else. By then, I had calmed down too, and I had thought it through. Since this mission was to lower Mi Cai's corruption level, I would have to slowly guide her back. There was no need to argue with her. With that in mind, I gave a casual nod. They taste all right. And so, our days continued in the strange yet peaceful way. The chains on me were removed. I still could not leave the room, but I could get out of bed and wander around. As I wandered, I suddenly made a new discovery. This place was shrouded in endless darkness. At first, all the furniture had been no more than blurry outlines. But when I looked closer, I found it all remarkably familiar. It was exactly like the decor from 5 years ago, in the apartment where Mi Cai and I had lived. Identical in every way. And it seemed it was not only the furniture. Everything around me, even Mi Cai, had begun to resemble how things were 5 years ago. Mi Cai came here every day. Sometimes she would catch me off guard with a kiss. Sometimes she would patiently blow dry my hair. Other times she would watch movies and have dinner with me. And at night, she would lovingly curl up in my arms, and we would fall asleep wrapped in each other's arms. Whenever that happened, some color would return to Mi Cai's cold, pale face. She finally no longer looked so cold and devoid of human warmth. At first, I resisted her sudden closeness, but before long, I got used to it. After all, her meticulous care, the warm, lively atmosphere, and that thoughtful, gentle girl were nothing unfamiliar to me. If anything, it was exactly like my life 5 years ago. Sometimes, in the candlelight, warmth would soften Mi Cai's deep, beautiful eyes, making her seem all the gentler. Whenever I looked at her like that, I would always drift into a daze, as if time had truly turned back, as if the girl before me were still that sincere, passionate girl. My heart would begin to race. Before I knew it, Mi Cai had truly imprisoned me completely. My body was trapped in this room, but my soul was trapped in a beautiful dream. A dream Mi Cai had painstakingly recreated, the enchanting dream from 5 years ago. But every dream must end. Inside the dinner tray sent in that night was a small note. It bore only a line of unfamiliar writing, yet every word carried a chilling edge. Yun Mo, Mi Cai's corruption level is still at maximum. I am the only one in this setting who can lower it. If you do not want to fail your mission and be erased, bring your system and come see me. An address was written underneath. I instantly snapped awake, as if a bucket of cold water had been thrown over my head. I knew Fang Yuan had written the note. After all, in the original setting, the one who could lower Mi Cai's corruption level could only be the fated male lead. I also knew Fang Yuan had never liked me. There was no way he was suddenly offering to help me complete my mission, without some ulterior motive. But none of that mattered to me. What mattered was that Mi Cai's corruption level was still maxed out. I had thought that if I stayed in this cage, slowly helping Mi Cai make up for the regrets of 5 years ago, I could heal the wounds in her heart. Then one day, her corruption level would fall too. But thinking it over now, whenever Mi Cai was with me, she seemed to have worn a mask all along. She wore the mask of her younger self, pretending to be the girl from 5 years ago as she lived with me. In the end, even I was nearly lost in the illusion. But what about Mi Cai? Did she truly harbor no resentment over what I had done? When she was with me, was she sincere? Or did she see me as a joke, thinking me foolish and easy to deceive? I had no idea, because I could not see Mi Cai's true thoughts beneath her mask. Her schemes, her thoughts, her feelings, even her current corruption level, I knew nothing about any of it. I had even willingly allowed myself to sink into this cage, not wanting to leave. At that thought, a chill crept down my back. How could I have been so careless? The heroine of the original novel was an expert at disguising herself and deceiving others, at toying with people's hearts. I looked up at the tightly shut door. My fists slowly clenched. Tonight, perhaps I needed to make a trip outside. That night, the instant Mi Cai stepped into the room, I naturally wrapped an arm around her slender waist. A gentle smile remained on my face. Mi Cai, do you remember what day it is? Mi Cai looked surprised, but she smoothly looped her arms around my neck. She answered sweetly, of course I remember. Today is the 10th anniversary of the day you brought me home, brother. Though I knew she would remember, hearing her say it still made my heart tremble. To everyone else, it was a meaningless day. Yet Mi Cai had truly remembered it. 5 years, then another 5 years. The next moment, Mi Cai's warm breath brushed my ear, intimate and soft. You're being so forward tonight, brother. Did you prepare a gift for me? I steadied myself, then pressed my lips to hers. Yes, I love you. Mi Cai's eyes widened in disbelief. Her whole body froze. I caught her completely off guard and kissed her. As our heated breaths intertwined, I fought to remain conscious, then quickly passed the sedative hidden beneath my tongue to her. Perhaps it was only my imagination, but Mi Cai's eyes, which had just lit up, suddenly dimmed. She soon collapsed to the floor, unconscious. She left behind only her final words. Brother, you really are a liar. I stood up, looking at the unconscious Mi Cai before me, still unable to believe it. It was that easy? Had Mi Cai really been drugged so easily? But I had no time to test whether it was real. I had to seize this rare chance. I had to escape this cage. The moment I stepped out the door, I looked back one final time. Mi Cai lay there quietly, her eyes closed. Under the dim light, her skin looked even more deathly pale, making her seem heartbreakingly fragile. I did not dare look again. Gritting my teeth, I finally turned and left. That is right. I was a heartless liar. On both anniversaries, I had used Mi Cai's feelings, then walked away from her. The address on the note led to an abandoned factory. The instant I entered, a group of men dressed like bodyguards rushed me and tied me up tightly. Yun Mo, you are far too easy to fool. Expressionless, I watched Fang Yuan emerge from the shadows. The corner of his mouth lifted, his voice dripping with mockery. So stupid. I truly do not know what Mi Cai sees in you. I stared at him. I was not provoked. Instead, a faint unease rose in me. The last time I saw Fang Yuan, he had still carried the vigor of a high-spirited young man. Yet after only a few days apart, he had become far more haggard. Dark circles shadowed his tired eyes, and he looked mentally exhausted. What had happened to him? When Fang Yuan saw that I was ignoring him, he stopped mocking me. He studied me silently for a moment. So Mi Cai likes your face? Then I will find a way to become what she likes. No matter how many times I look at this face, it makes me sick. I frowned. You called me here. What do you want? Fang Yuan gave a low laugh. I just do not understand. I am the fated male lead. So, why did Mi Cai fall for you? I told Mi Cai everything. You are a liar. Your mission is to hurt her. His voice suddenly rose. Why can she still not forget you? Why, to be honest, I did not know either. But after spending so long with her, I could feel it. Mi Cai was no longer merely a fictional character in a novel. She had her own feelings, flesh and blood, and a soul. She was a living, breathing person. She would not be controlled by the plot into loving someone she did not love. Fang Yuan ground his teeth and snarled at me. Mi Cai, because of you, actually wanted to blow up this world, and even killed her own father. Hearing that, I froze. What do you mean? She killed her own father. Fang Yuan gave a cold snort. You still do not know. A few days ago, Mi Cai planned to destroy this entire timeline at the funeral, but then she took you away. So, she abandoned the plan. After she left, I secretly sent people to search that place anyway, to find and dispose of the explosives for good. But guess what I found? His body shuddered, as though he had recalled something horrifying. In a dark drainage ditch, I found Mi Cai's father, the once untouchable head of S-City's most powerful family. His corpse had simply been carelessly buried in a filthy ditch. I was stunned too. Her father was in that ditch. Then who was in the coffin at the funeral? You have the nerve to ask? Fang Yuan shot me a hateful look. I used a system tool to see inside the coffin, and I saw your face. That same face again. Later, I learned from the system that after you faked your death 5 years ago, Mi Cai somehow preserved your corpse all this time. She stayed beside a corpse, day and night, for 5 years. Only after you returned could she bear to bury it. What? I could scarcely believe my ears. My heart began to tremble violently. I had thought Mi Cai hated me for deceiving her, and would never treat my corpse well. But I never imagined that for these 5 years, Mi Cai had been relying on. Had she really survived by clinging to a corpse? Back when I faked my death, I cast aside that body double without mercy. She had held it close, cherishing it for 5 years. Fang Yuan stepped forward, his eyes red as he seized my collar. It is all because of you, you disaster. You turn our plot into a complete mess. And now look, the female lead has become truly insane. The male lead cannot complete his mission, and he is about to be erased. So, why did you have to appear? Why will you not just die? My body was bound, unable to move, but my gaze slowly turned cold. For the first time, I struck back at Fang Yuan's provocation. Why did I have to appear? If I remember correctly, you entered this world before I did you not? Since you are the male lead meant to save her, why did you not save Mi Cai sooner? Fang Yuan's raised voice abruptly cut off. When Mi Cai had neither power nor influence, I was the one who stayed with her through her hardest days. Back then, we were destitute. Street punks bullied us. We often shared a single bowl of noodles, huddled together for warmth, and treated each other's wounds. But where were you? I stared hard at him, pressing him step by step. Back then, you were the eldest son of the Yuan family, living comfortably in a villa, dreaming of some rich, beautiful woman throwing herself at you. I do not fault you for being afraid of hardship, because that is only human. But you never did anything for Mi Cai. Yet the moment she became successful, you appeared, crying that you were her salvation. Do you not find that ridiculous? My tone dropped below freezing. If your so-called salvation means sharing only the good times, but never the hard times, then that salvation is utterly worthless. Fang Yuan's face went deathly pale. He took a step back, muttering to reassure himself. That is not how it was. In the original story, I never helped Mi Cai either. Yet she still fell in love with me. It is all because of you. Everything changed when you appeared. As long as you disappear, the plot can return to normal. His expression gradually turned savage and crazed. He suddenly pulled out a knife and viciously stabbed it toward me. I neither dodged nor flinched. The next second, a sharp crack rang out. The knife was violently knocked away. Fang Yuan froze for a moment, then quickly realized why. I cannot believe I forgot about that. That is right. I had not come to this meeting unprepared. The moment I stepped out of that signal-blocking cage, I reconnected with my system to protect their host. Every system comes with defensive functions, unless, as I did 5 years ago, I sought death by letting thugs kill me. No weapon could hurt me. But Fang Yuan reacted quickly. With a cold laugh, he said, "If I cannot kill you with a weapon, can I not beat you to vent my anger?" As he spoke, he raised his hand high and swung it hard at my face. This was beyond my expectations. I instinctively closed my eyes, but the pain I expected never came. I did not believe Fang Yuan had stopped halfway through, because he had suddenly found a conscience. Confused, I opened my eyes. Fang Yuan's arm was gripped by a slender, pale hand. His face had turned bright red. He stared in shock behind me, his voice stammering. Mi Cai. My mind went blank. I had just been kidnapped and nearly stabbed to death. Yet my heart had never raced this fast. The woman who should have been unconscious in the cage was somehow standing behind me. Her familiar, cool fragrance drifted over me, wrapping around me. All this just to see her? Mi Cai's voice brushed against my ear, burning hot, but cold as ice. I turned around with difficulty. How? Weren't you unconscious? Mi Cai traced her fingers over my neck, her touch gentle as water. Brother, have you forgotten? Today is not only the anniversary of the day you took me in, 10 years ago. It is also the 5th anniversary of the day you ran away. On a day worth remembering for a lifetime. How could I possibly let down my guard? My scalp prickled. I knew it. Mi Cai was not so easy to deceive. But Fang Yuan was clearly more panicked than I was. He forced a fake smile. Mi Cai, I only tried to hit Mr. Yuan, because he provoked me first. I was so angry that Mi Cai gave her a cold glance. There is no need to lie in front of me. Among all the systems, yours is the one I know best. I know. Your mission to win me over expires today. That is why you could not wait to trick Yunmo here to vent your anger. Fang Yuan froze. Every trace of color drained from his face. How did you know? Mi Cai gave a cruel smile. Do you know why I have allowed you near me all these years? Because apart from brother, you are the only person around me with a system. If I wanted to study systems, naturally, I had to start with you. Fang Yuan staggered back a step. His eyes reddened. He looked terribly wronged. So, you never liked me. It was all for the system inside me. Mi Cai bent down, slowly untying the ropes around me. Her voice was icy. I told you. There is no need to pretend before me. Do not pretend to be devoted and innocent. You know exactly what awful things you did to brother. You know it in your heart. And now you actually want to hurt brother. The murderous intent in her voice suddenly intensified. Fang Yuan, I have not eliminated you yet. You should thank the system on you for still being useful. What are you crying for? Fang Yuan's face turned even whiter. He backed away in disbelief. You even know that? But Mi Cai was not shocked. For even a second. Fang Yuan immediately grabbed the hem of Mi Cai's skirt, explaining through sobs. 5 years ago, I had thugs corner Yunmo. Because I knew you were the female lead. I knew you would protect him. That is why I dared to bully him a little. I suddenly froze where I stood. She had sent thugs to corner me. My thoughts flew back 5 years. Back then, in a secluded alley, a gang of thugs had suddenly blocked my path for no reason. They robbed the tuition money I had scraped together for Mi Cai, then beat me mercilessly. They even filmed it with grins on their faces. Why are you looking so fierce? Do you fucking know? You offended someone you should never have offended. Come on, smile. It will look better on camera. What? You want revenge? Here is a friendly warning. We have people backing us. Try to get revenge, and you will not die well. Those words turned out to be prophetic. Mi Cai later rushed to my side and called the police. Those thugs were sent to prison. Then, 5 years ago, the thugs broke into our home for revenge. A knife pierced my heart. I died a brutal death. I truly did not die well. But I was the one who planned the stabbing. I deliberately leaked our address to those thugs, so they would come for revenge. Then, naturally, they became stepping stones on the female lead's path to darkness. But I had known nothing about that first robbery and assault in the alley. I was completely unaware of it. Through countless sleepless nights, I wondered who I had offended while staying by Mi Cai's side. Someone I never should have crossed. Now I finally knew. It was Fang Yuan. I clenched my fists tightly. At last, my gaze at Fang Yuan burned with fury. But Fang Yuan did not look at me. He still desperately clutched Mi Cai's skirt, as if grasping her last lifeline. Mi Cai, I am truly sorry about that. But Yunmo did not really come to harm in the end, did he? I knew you were so powerful. I knew you would be able to protect him. Mi Cai coldly shook off Fang Yuan's hand. Looking down at her, she said, that is why I am protecting him now. Fang Yuan collapsed onto the floor. An old clock nearby ticked away. I looked up. There were only 30 minutes left until the new day. Fang Yuan was about to be erased. But just then, an unexpected accident happened. Fang Yuan suddenly snatched up the dagger from the floor and viciously stabbed it at me. He let out a desperate roar. Yunmo, do not get too smug. Even if I die, I will drag you down with me. A protective barrier automatically sprang up around me. I frowned. Did I not tell you? You cannot hurt me. But before I could finish, there was a sharp crack. A fracture suddenly appeared in the barrier, and the next instant, it shattered to pieces. Fang Yuan burst into wild laughter. I traded my final 30 minutes of life for an enhanced dagger. Your protection cannot stop it at all. Die, the gleaming blade rushed toward me. But before I could react, a figure moved faster than the blade, stepping in front of me first. The next moment, blood sprayed everywhere. A drop of warm blood fell at the corner of my eye. I looked up in a daze. Mi Cai's chest had been pierced through. Fang Yuan, dagger and all, was kicked to the ground. He sprawled there in disarray, staring at Mi Cai in disbelief. His voice trembled beyond recognition. He stammered, no, Mi Cai. I did not mean to kill you. I wanted to kill Yunmo. Why did that bastard have to hurt you? But before he could finish, a cold mechanical warning sounded. Transmigrator number 038. Your time limit for winning over the female lead has expired. Mission incomplete. You will now face immediate erasure. The next instant, Fang Yuan's body, like lines of data code, began to collapse. Before he could say another word, he disintegrated. Only a piercing scream remained. Then she vanished forever. But I could not pay attention to anything around me. Instinctively, I caught Mi Cai as she fell. My mind was completely blank. Blood kept pouring from her wound. As far as I could see, everything was stained crimson. I still could not believe it. Mi Cai had taken that knife from me. The shrewd, calculating female lead from the original novel was about to die for a deceitful male supporting character. I murmured. Why? Mi Cai's face was deathly pale, her breathing faint, as if she might die at any moment. Yet when she heard my question, she still forced out a smile. Because I do not want to watch brother die before me again. That is far more terrifying than dying myself. In that instant, it felt as though that knife had stabbed me instead. Every bone in my body ached unbearably. Tears spilled from my eyes. Mi Cai laboriously raised a hand and wiped away my tears. Her voice was gentle. Brother, when you escaped tonight, did you say that you loved me? My heart trembled. It was true that, while escaping tonight, to distract her, I had casually told her I loved her. Mi Cai's gaze was no longer dark and unfathomable. It overflowed with pure, sincere love, just like the girl's eyes 5 years ago. Even though I know brother lied to me, it still makes me happy to hear such a beautiful lie before I die. I am still happy. Actually, I love you too. Fang Yuan was erased. Mi Cai was taken to the hospital. The blade had struck slightly off target and had not struck any vital organs, but she was still being treated in the intensive care unit and remained in critical condition. So these past few days, I had been so busy I could barely breathe. I paid Mi Cai's bills, waited outside the operating room, and went to every temple for protective charms. After several days, dark circles had formed beneath my eyes. The doctor could not stand it any longer. He firmly pushed me down onto the sofa and made me get some sleep, but I could not sleep. Mi Cai, covered in blood, whispering that she loved me, kept appearing before my eyes. It was as vivid as ever. Sometimes, I even wondered if Mi Cai was taking revenge on me. 5 years ago, I arranged for myself to be stabbed and leave this world. 5 years later, Mi Cai took a knife for me too, then refused to wake up. It was as if she wanted me to experience the pain of losing someone I loved. Bitterness filled my heart, and tears moistened my reddened eyes. Stop, 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 host. Do not cry. The system's anxious voice suddenly rang out. It startled me badly. She comforted me. Host, do not be sad. Let me tell you something else to take your mind off it, all right? Listlessly, I asked. What do you want to tell me? The system perked up at once. Host, Fang Yuan said earlier that for the past 5 years Mi Cai had spent all 5 years holding your corpse. I thought it was so twisted and exciting, so I looked into it for evidence a few days ago. Judging by her unreliable tone, had she really found any credible evidence? But the system suddenly sounded serious. Host, do you know why Mi Cai as a child was bullied year after year and lived such a miserable life? Dazed, I shook my head. I had always thought the girl was simply unlucky, given the role of a beautiful, strong girl doomed to suffer. Was there really something more behind it? It turned out Mi Cai was the eldest daughter of F City's most powerful family. She was born into privilege, but the Liu family believed in harsh suppressive parenting. The children of that family were thrown into the slums from childhood to toughen them up, then deliberately subjected to endless hardships. They believed only this way could they forge a sharp blade, with no weak spot. So all the suffering Mi Cai endured in those early years had actually been arranged by the Liu family. Then my appearance disrupted their plans. After I took Mi Cai home, life began to return to her world. She was no longer suffering, but with me by her side, she experienced rare happiness that went completely against the Liu family's intentions. So the Liu family had targeted me from the start. They not only began secretly undermining me, but also planned to get rid of me. So 5 years ago, even if those thugs had not killed me, I would have died at the Liu family's hands sooner or later. Later, after Mi Cai turned dark, she returned to the Liu family and found evidence that her father had once persecuted me. So she killed him without anyone knowing. She even threw his body into a ditch, while placing my corpse in a coffin and giving me the grandest funeral. At this point, the system could not help clicking her tongue and shaking her head. The female lead's corruption level truly went off the charts. She never went this far even for the male lead in the original novel. The Liu family probably never imagined that after tormenting Mi Cai for so many years, she still had not turned dark. But the moment you died, she went completely off the rails. Love really is more twisted than hate. If the old me had learned this, I probably would have agreed that she was completely insane. But now, I could not say that at all, because I did not think Mi Cai was insane. Where I could not see, she had silently done so much for me. All I could see was her stubborn love for me, one that would keep going, even after hitting a dead end. Thinking of that, I suddenly asked in a low voice, System, how is my mission progress this time? The system fell silent for a moment. Host, there is good news and bad news. Which do you want to hear first? The bad news. The bad news is, after everything that happened, Mi Cai's corruption level is still maxed out. My hand trembled. The system continued softly. Mi Cai has truly become unhinged. She will stop at nothing to achieve her goals. Her corruption level can never go down again. This was the bitter consequence of my own making. I took a deep breath. What is the good news then? The good news is, Mi Cai's love for you has been at maximum since 5 years ago, and it has never changed. I froze, listening to the system. My heart suddenly raced. Everything about her, every emotion, desire, and purpose comes from you. Mi Cai will listen to you. As long as you are by her side, she will willingly let you restrain her. She will not do anything wrong again, because she loves you more than anyone else in this world. 5 days later, I sat beside her hospital bed, watching Mi Cai sleep peacefully. She was out of danger, but no one knew when she would wake. The system was already gone. Before she left, she said she was going to another world to continue her missions. Though the system was unreliable most of the time, after being together for so long, I still felt reluctant to say goodbye. The system smiled. Actually, I chose you to take on this mission because you were all alone in the real world, with no family or friends. Now that I see someone loves you so much, I am very happy. Bittersweet emotion caught in my throat. The system still said goodbye to me. Do not miss me. Someone who loves you more than I do will be there for you. I can feel it. Mi Cai will wake up. Thinking of that, my gaze returned to Mi Cai's face. I reached out and gently stroked her cheek. Do not make me worry anymore. Please wake up soon, all right? But I waited and waited until night fell. That stubborn girl still did not wake up. I rested my head beside her bed and drifted off to sleep without realizing it. I dreamed of 10 years earlier, when I had just brought Mi Cai home. Mi Cai was still young then, and covered in wounds. At night, nightmares often tormented her, so I brought some medicine and carefully applied it to her wounds. The girl neither cried nor fussed. Her eyes shone as brightly as stars, filled with hope. Brother, you are so kind. Will you really stay by my side forever? I gently patted her head and soothed her softly. I will. As time passed, Mi Cai gradually emerged from her nightmares. At last, she could sleep peacefully. The dream abruptly ended there. In my haze, a soft touch suddenly brushed my face. It felt as if someone were caressing my cheek. My eyes flew open. In the moonlight, a radiant, familiar woman reached out to soothe me. It was exactly how I had comforted her 10 years ago. Mi Cai's smile was filled with tender love. We meet again, brother. This time, Mi Cai will be the one to pull you out of your nightmare. Female lead's perspective. When Yunmo died, Mi Cai felt she had already gone mad. She killed those thugs and avenged Yunmo. But after that, her life sank into a deep pool of despair. Mi Cai was a rare genius in scientific research, so she began researching how to preserve Yunmo's corpse. On countless nights, she held that cold body in her arms and murmured, "Brother, you liar. Did you not promise to stay with me forever?" Just when she could no longer endure it and wanted to end her life, an unfamiliar young woman appeared. The stranger urgently stopped her. She said her name was Fang Yuan. She was a transmigrator into this novel, sent to save her. She also said Yunmo was a novel transmigrator too. Only a terrible liar. Yunmo's mission was to corrupt Mi Cai, so her protection, her salvation, even her death, had all been an elaborate deception from start to finish. After hearing this, Mi Cai could not remember how she felt. She only remembered walking numbly back to her room, then staring at the body on the bed, still so lifelike. As she sat there all night, over that one night, she finally understood her own heart. So, what if Yunmo had lied to her? She was not afraid of betrayal, not afraid of corruption, or of becoming a madwoman in everyone else's eyes. There was only one thing she feared, that Yunmo would abandon her completely and never return. So from that day on, Mi Cai devoted herself to researching the system. She believed, if the system could bring Yunmo here once, then it could bring her back a second time. She would make Yunmo return for her once more. After some time, her research finally made a breakthrough. Mi Cai learned that Yunmo had come to ensure the original plot unfolded as intended. Then, as long as Mi Cai kept growing more corrupt and ruined the so-called original plot, Yunmo would have to return to correct it. She would definitely come back. So Mi Cai thought, from then on, she only needed to make her corruption level soar, and that would be enough. But it was not easy. No matter how completely she lost control, her corruption level stopped at 100 and never rose any higher. But a corruption level of 100 was still within the original story's limits. It was not enough to bring Yunmo back. Just as Mi Cai grew increasingly anxious, the Liu family came for her. They were pleased with Mi Cai's madness and decided to bring her home and formally acknowledge her. Mi Cai kept a polite smile on her face, but instinctively felt something was wrong with them. Sure enough, after looking into it, she discovered that much of the suffering, bullying, and misfortune she and Yun Mo had endured over the years had been caused by the Liu family. Even her father had planned to have Yun Mo killed. So one night, Mi Cai stormed into her gravely ill father's room. Under her father's terrified gaze, she spoke slowly. "Father, you worked so hard to put on such an elaborate show, turning me into the perfect person you imagined. But you do not know this, do you? Even after all you have done, I still love Yun Mo. I am this mad now, because of her too, not because of you." She leaned close to her father and whispered, "After you die, I will use the entire Liu family as my dowry when I marry her. How about that?" Old Master Liu's veins bulged with rage. His face contorted with fury. Before he could even spit out a curse or two, the shock overwhelmed him. His heart suddenly gave out, and he died. At that very moment, Mi Cai sensed her corruption level break past 100, completely out of control. She knew Yun Mo would be back soon. During that time, she was in a wonderful mood. She threw her father's body into a ditch, then placed Yun Mo's body in the most expensive coffin. She would give Yun Mo the grandest funeral. She would make every Liu family member who had harmed them pray for Yun Mo at the funeral and weep for her. Then, once the prayers ended, she would blow up the funeral. She would make them keep repenting in hell. Finally, on the day of the funeral, on a day of misting rain, Yun Mo returned. She seemed unaccustomed to her new body. Her foot slipped, and she fell right in front of Mi Cai. Outwardly, Mi Cai helped her up with apparent kindness, but inside, a tidal wave raged. Before that, she had always thought her feelings for Yun Mo were a tangle of love and hate. She loved Yun Mo for pulling her from the mud, yet hated her for casting her into an abyss. But when Yun Mo truly returned, Mi Cai realized her feelings held only one desire: to see her. She desperately, obsessively wanted to meet her again. On the night of their 10th anniversary, Yun Mo drugged Mi Cai, then escaped her cage. But she did not know. The moment Yun Mo left, Mi Cai rose to her feet. She lowered her eyes, watching Yun Mo's swiftly retreating figure. She had let Yun Mo go willingly. During the days she kept Yun Mo captive, Mi Cai suffered every day. This madwoman thought herself selfish. She was the one trapped in the beautiful dream from 5 years ago. Why should she drag Yun Mo into it too? Yun Mo had always been so alive and free. She should not have been trapped in Mi Cai's cage. So Mi Cai stood up and gently touched the lip Yun Mo had bitten open moments ago. A smile slowly curved her red lips. This 10th anniversary gift was still a lie after all. But this lie was beautiful. Yun Mo had said, "I love you." So Mi Cai had no complaints. Mi Cai tittied herself up, then silently followed behind Yun Mo. She had given Yun Mo her freedom again, but she would protect Yun Mo forever from the shadows. Mi Cai had once said to Yun Mo, "Brother, do you really think I am foolish enough to let you lie to me forever?" But only now did she understand that she truly was that foolish. Foolish to the point of madness. Perhaps she was the kind of madwoman who, once she loved someone, even knowing that person was a terrible liar, would still willingly step into the lies they had woven. But Mi Cai did not mind. Mad? Then so be it. After all, a liar and a madwoman were made for each other. Mi Cai was discharged from the hospital. We returned to the Liu family villa, so she could recover slowly. I brought her a bowl of soup and fed Mi Cai spoonful by spoonful. Mi Cai drank her soup, but her gaze remained intensely fixed on me, as if I were the meal. I tapped her on the head. "What are you looking at? Stop getting distracted and eat." Mi Cai broke into a warm, radiant smile. "Of course I am looking at you, brother. You are so handsome, and it is wonderful to see you again." Her flirting made my face flush. I could not help tapping her head again. 5 years apart, and you learn nothing else. But your smooth talking has certainly improved. The spoiled, scheming young lady's face fell at once. A rare trace of hurt entered her voice. "But I mean it, brother. While I was unconscious, I was terrified you would run away again and leave me alone again. So, when I woke up and saw you again, I truly thought it was wonderful. It was the first stroke of luck in my life." A bittersweet ache rose in my chest. The words of criticism caught in my throat, and I swallowed them in the end. Looking at the jackknife-wound scar on Mi Cai's chest, I gently reached out and touched it. "Does it still hurt?" Mi Cai answered honestly. It does not hurt, it feels nice. The next moment, Mi Cai took my hand. Not letting my hand wander, she wrapped her fair arms around my waist and kissed me passionately without restraint. The temperature in the room gradually rose, and the atmosphere turned increasingly intimate. I took several deep breaths and raised my hand to block her lips, not letting her kiss me. My voice was soft. You have not recovered yet. The doctor said no strenuous activity. Mi Cai kissed my hand instead. Her warm breath brushed over my skin, sending a tingling shiver through me. Have I recovered or not? Try me, brother, and you will find out. Mi Cai's kiss was scorching, but I could not bear to push her away. I leaned down, letting myself drown in Mi Cai's love. Through the haze of passion, I thought, how could someone as fiery as Mi Cai possibly be? Nothing more than a flat character in a book. My memories slowly drifted back 5 years. That night, on our 5th anniversary, the first time I left Mi Cai had smiled and said to me, my life only began to have meaning after I met you, brother. I had thought it was merely an ordinary declaration of love, but now, perhaps it had been true. The lonely girl had long since gained flesh and blood through being loved, and found a soul. Then, 5 years ago, she stubbornly placed her sincere heart in my hands.